Hello, my friend. My name is Anton from Conlog.com, and this is a short video from our Code Express series dedicated to Python learning. The topic we are going to cover today is variables. We will take a look what are the major types of the variables exist in the Python, how to use them. The variables in reality is a cornerstone of each and every Python program, and if anybody tells you that he or she doesn't use variables in his program, don't trust this individual. It's just not true. So let's take a look what we have prepared for you today. We, as usual, open our VM with the Python. You could see it on my left-hand side. Let me make a bit the video so that you could take a look at myself as well. So we are in the folder where we can host all our Python scripts, which we have created in the first two sessions. And we go to the folder called 03, which is dedicated to the short video, which is this video. And this folder we will create a new file that we'll call, let's think about it. We are working with variables, right? So let's create a file called var.py, or let's call it new var.py. So this is a new file. As you remember, we have explained in the previous session, we need to start with the shebang and providing the path to our Python code. So we need to do this in the following way. I don't remember the path to my installed Python 3.8 by heart. That is why I need, like in the previous session as well, try to find the path. So this is a path for our Python. Very well, we copy it from our string and going to inside of our newly created file, we add the path here. So now our file would be processed by Python. The next step is to start working with variable. In general, there are multiple data types, but there are a couple of which are the most popular ones. For instance, the first very popular type of the data in the variables is a string. Perhaps string is the most popular one, because if you think from the network automation perspective, interface name is a string. So ETH0, gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1 on something like this. This is all the strings. So basically strings in all sort of alphanumerical text, using spaces, using any other character. In order to create such a variable in the Python, you need to provide the value of this string in a single or double quote. So how we do this? First of all, what is the name of the variables themselves? So the name of the variables in the Python shall be consisted either from small letters or capital letters, digits and underscore, with the first character is letter or underscore. Don't use underscore by default. It is used in some specific use cases. We'll speak about them later, not today. So therefore, try to use something from what was explained. More detailed, you could read in our blog post. Now we'll create some variable. Let's call it port name. So that would be a variable containing the name of our interface, and as said, into quote, single or double, we provide the name of this interface. So let's call it Ethernet 1. So this is the string variable, right? So it is provided in a single quote. You could provide also in double quotes. There is no problem at all. Just matter how do you prefer, and you need to understand that single quotes or double quotes sometimes interchangeable, sometimes is not. When not, we will speaking about more precisely again later in our course. Let's create another variable. Let's call it port IP address, which will contain the IP address of the port, and this time we'll provide the value of the string in a double quote. So we have created, or 01 doesn't matter. So we have created a file with two variables. That is very good, but these variables are not used yet somehow. And in order to use this variable, we will just print the output to verify that this input is correct. To do that, we use the function print that we have learned in the previous session. And inside this function, we provide as an arguments both our name of the variables that we have created. So we have created very simple script. It has two variables and it prints the content of these variables. So let's exit off our script. Don't forget to change the permissions of the file to be executable, and now we could execute. So we see in our CLI the two let's say strings or strap strings. One is Ethernet 1, another is 192.168.0.1. So this is the variables, that is the values of the variables we have created in our Python script. So going further, that is very good, by the way. So because you already see, you have applied the name for the variable, you have applied the value for this variable, and you could use this variable, this interchanged by the its value all the time, which is the basics, the name for the variable. Going further, what we could do, the second type of the variables are digits or numbers. Any sort of numbers, it could be integers, it could be floating, dot, any sort of this are the variables. In terms of the network automation, in terms of working with network devices, predominantly we are working with integers, because any sort of indexes of the interface, any sort of another numerical data like speed of the interface or any counters are integers. So that's why we will use also some similar integers here. So then we'll create also two variables with the numeric value. So let's call the first one IP prefix, so it will contain the prefix length for IP address we have just provided. And let's create another port speed, which will contain the speed of the interface. In contrast to the string variables, where you see that we provide the value in the quotes, in case of the numbers, in case of the digits, we provide the value without the quotes. We can provide also, like we could put /24, for instance, or not slash, just 24 in quotes. In this case, it will be treated as a string, but sometimes we need to treat it as a string, sometimes not. That's why if you don't put it in the quotes, it is a proper integer value to which all the rules or the math could be applied. Now, just for now, we will take a look in the same print function, providing to the input of it all our newly created variables to check if the output is correct. Again, we execute the same string, the same script, and we see that our line is appended by two another outputs by two another variables, 24 and 10,000, sorry. So this is the second most popular type of the data, and now we will cover the third, also very popular, and which is also widely used in terms of the network automation. So the third type of the variables are Boolean. So Boolean logic is a binary logic where you have either saying true or false, 0, 1. So there is no any further meaning, only these two, true or false. So how they are provided to their variables, basically the construction is the same. You provide the name, then equal, and then you provide either true or false, starting with a capital letter without any quotes. So let's create a variable calling port speed, sorry, not port, port enabled. So let's say this variable would be working for us in terms of defining later on when we start working on some conditional loops, is an indicator whether the interface is up, administratively up, or whether it should down. Adding this value to our script, to our print function, add a fifth variable, and we execute our script once more. We see all the variables are provided one after another, so 5 in a row, and we could start we understand that these values are correct, we could apply these variables anywhere further in the code as we need. Before closing this video, we'll take a look for one more important thing that also going not necessary together with a debug function like print in this case, but the output is quite hard to read in terms of, yes, you see some text or some numbers, but you don't necessarily know to which particular variable this is related to. That is why we will use another function. So far we have used only one function, which is print. We will use another function, which is called format. So format is a function that is used to format the output. Basically, it's sort of templating, a sort of the string formatting, providing you with the possibility to add some like templates inside your string, where within this template the name of the variable, not the name, the content of the variable will be inserted. So let's remove for the time being this print string and create a new one using the format. So we are using the same print function. Inside the print function we could use this format. So format is applied to string top format, and print is a two independent function, but they are quite handy working together. So let's create such an example. We put here the inside, you see in the fixed text in the quotes, the interface, then we provide the specific symbol opening and closing curly brackets, what is exactly the place where the variable will be inserted by the format function. And then we add something like has an IP. We again provide for the second time this opening and closing curly brackets slash, and again the same symbol, which means, as you already understand, the symbol where the variable will be inserted. Then we, after closing the quotes that framing our string, we add a format function. So meaning that if you see that to some object, then it is dot and then function. So this function is applied to this object, meaning this function is modifying initial object. So the format function has a very simple format. So it in the list provides separating by comma the argument that shall be inserted into this opening and closing brackets, sorry, not the brackets, curly brackets places. So, and we copy just the name of our variables. The logic behind that, the first match will be filled in by the value of the first variable, the second by the second, and the third by the third. Okay, so yes, let me put it here so you will see this. So that is our string. So let's execute our script one more time. So we run, you can run, and you see right now the values of the variable are inserted into the string template. This curly brackets filled in with the proper variables following in the sequence. First brackets with the first variable, second with the second, third with the third, and so on, depending on the amount of brackets in our templates. So this function now creates some sort of proper sentence, and this is the basis of creating various templates or various reports which you could use in your applications. To be honest, the format, as I said, not only related to the print function, it could be also working as an independent one, and we could, using this format function, again using this templating mechanism, create another string variables. For instance, right now we have IP address and the prefix separated into different pieces. We want, say, create a new variable which will have a full format, meaning IP address slash prefix. So we could create the new variable called port IP full. Then we will apply, or we will add, will provide the value of this variable as a string. Inside the string, we provide more or less the same template as was by the end of our print function. So basically, in the quotes that are providing like our string, we have one pair of opening and closing curly bracket slash second pair. And then to the string, we apply this format function. Inside the format function, we again provide the name of the variables what we want to use to compose the final variable. So, just to verify that this is working correctly, we would add another print function where we, to the input or of the as an argument of this function, we'll provide the name of the newly created variable. So let's execute our script one more. You see that we have printed the proper IP/prefix. So that is exactly how our new variable that we have just created has worked. So that's why you see that this format function allow you to template the string, could be used in their reports, could be used into like provided some output for you, as I mean for network engineer, for system engineers who are looking after this code, what is working, or it could be also used to compose another, to create new variables, again, if it is necessary by the application. So that is all for our today's session. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, put your like in the any social media where you see this video, in the LinkedIn, in the YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and see you the next time. Thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye.